Today, oh my days, today, this episode has been pending for like 6 months now. We have a thought leader, a global speaker, a leadership coach in the house today. Today, we have Mr. Mr. Rotiba Oluwagbenga in the place. I usually introduce people bare bone, but I like the people to introduce themselves. To see,
Really?
yeah, like who is Mr. Rio? What are you gonna say?
You know, that's pretty much I mean the word broad, but I mean I could just shorten into I am Rio. All right. Rotiba Emmanuel is the global leadership speaker and a thought leader, a transformation speaker who has the core value of leadership and transformation. And my desire and brand identity is rooted in helping people find their purpose, find their path, and also live with some very essence of what they are designed and wired to be.
Okay.
Oftentimes when people ask me, why do you say Rio and all? There's a big statement behind Rio and some of my brand identity, design your life and also forward and all. But I'm sure we'll get to those points as time progresses and all.
I'm really interested in hearing that part about
Really?
it. Yes,
I'll tell you.
Rio.
I'll tell you.
Okay, we'll go into that. So you're a transformative leader, a thought speaker. You are focused on helping people identify and achieve and realize their purpose in life. Okay, so you have an organization, should I call it an organization or an event called Design Your Life?
Design Your Life.
Design Your Life. It's an event, right? So you have it in different parts of the world as well.
Yep.
Why do you feel the need to provide and to create this platform called Design Your Life to serve people? Why do you feel the need? Why is there a need for that?
So awesome. It's so simple to me. You know, Design Your Life came from the thought process. You know, one of those days I was just in my very element, and I was in that space where there were certain things that was happening at that point in time in my life, and I felt, I needed a change, and I needed to be intentional about it and all. And you know, a lot of people find this as strength in putting blame for certain things that happen in their life to other people.
Okay.
And it got to me that, you know, whatever you become, whatever happens in your life is largely dependent on what you have made it to be. You know, so when I say design your life, that means you have the mental capacity, you have the ability to make your life what it should be, irrespective of your background, irrespective of where you came from, what has been your history or whatsoever. You don't have control over your past. There are certain things you don't have control over, where you are born, the family you are born to, you know, a lot of things like that. But what you become is a function of who you really are and what you want to be. So at that point, I said, design your life. For me, I feel it is more like I can't give other people the power to define what I become. So the moment I say design your life, it's the creative expression of saying I have the power to become what I desire to become only if I'm intentional about it. So design your life, you have the power, you have the capacity, and it's in your hands. If you succeed, it is you. If you fail, you are to blame.
That is amazing. I mean, what we talk about a lot in this podcast, what I talk about a lot is, one of the episodes I did earlier was choice. We talk about how your decisions are the things that define your direction in life. Your choices are what defines your experience.
Absolutely.
So when you said that about your choices, you are the one that choose to have the responsibility to design your life. It really, really hit home. And you said you won't allow someone else to design your life, that you have the sole responsibility
Absolutely
to design your life. I want to ask, when you have the sole responsibility of designing your life, you know there are a lot of factors that go into your own thought process, your own value system, your own priorities, and the things choices that you make. Emotional and logical. There are a lot of factors that go into it. Maybe your family background, your location, your environment. what they rate to be valuable and what is not, but you also have your own choice to make as well. How does one start to get a compass, to get a feel of what they could be doing, what their purpose could probably be? How does one query the sources of their choices and the influences of their choices?
I'll take it from a personal mental construct. Number one, your mental construct must be in solid shape. And what do I mean? You see, the aspect of designing your life must come from a place of great envisioning. See, what we become is as a result of the mental picture we have seen.
Okay.
So for me as a person, for a long time, I told myself, oh, I want to be a global citizen. I want to be a global speaker. I just don't want to speak in Nigeria. I just don't want to speak in West Africa. I want to speak around the globe. And all my creative expressions has been tilted towards a global presence. Why? It's intentional. Because I had envisioned already. So envisioning is one of the mental constructs of someone who is ready to design his life or design a life. Because the moment you see it as a mental picture, boom, the next thing is what I have seen. What do I need to do to pursue this aspect of life? So you envision, then you now begin to look at it. Oh, what is my execution mode? See, if you have a vision, if your execution is in shambles, I bet you, no matter how the level of vision you have, you cannot go past the level to which you just ideate alone. What that means is, if you don't have an execution plan, you're going nowhere. Because ideas are everywhere.
True.
Execution is the main deal.
What did somebody say? An idea not acted on is just an idea.
It's just an idea.
That's all it is.
I often say that. I said ideas are everywhere. They are everywhere. Ideas are clean. Execution is dirty. And to get to that place of success, you have to go dirty. You have to put your hands in the mud.
Work. Yes.
No, that's where the work is. But a lot of people just say, oh, I have this idea. I just tell them, leave the idea. Get to work. People will begin to buy into your ideas when they see some level of success.
Yeah.
But most importantly, when you talk about the question you asked me in designing your life, and also getting to that point where they understand that, oh, this is what I want to become, right? The power of decisions. You see, I stopped advising people on the impact of their actions. My response is, whatever you want to do, do. But whatever you do, there are always consequences and there are always reactions to every action. So it means if you take a negative action, be ready to see the impact of those negative actions you've taken. So it is now in your mental construct, your mindset will tell you, this thing I'm doing is wrong. There is no one, I repeat, there is no one who is about to make a bad decision whose heart doesn't prick him first. This thing is wrong. So decision is one of the rudiments of you getting to that place and the pinnacle of success.
This is so great. Like I usually talk about, I have I usually lay it out as 4 processes of transformation.
Yeah.
Which is the awareness stage, the disruption stage of most recently, the disruption stage, the capacity building stage, and then finally the deployment stage, which is the decisive stage.
Yep.
From what you're saying, it is clear that during the awareness stage, during the capacity building stage, let me just run through it. The awareness stage is when you first of all know what you want to be.
Absolutely.
When you first of all pick it up. On this podcast, I always try to say, just query your source. Make sure your source is not the devil or it's not a negative influence. Because if you don't choose who you're going to serve, you're already serving something already. That's how the world is designed. Yeah. It's already designed, like human beings are designed to be service creatures. So if you said you're not serving something, you're already serving something in one way or the other. So query your source and know where your source of your inspiration is coming from. And like you said you want to be a global speaker. I used to say the shortcut for people is that find someone you want to be like. That is the shortcut. Just getting started.
Yeah.
Just getting started. Like Rio now. I look at you like, I was just like, okay, I want to be like Rio, right? And then I now look at, oh, okay, what is the difference between me and Rio? What are the decisions I need to make? What are the things I need to build? And that's what leads to the capacity building stage, where I start developing myself so I can get to that level. And of course, I used to say that, everybody has different paths. Along the line, you figure out your own way.
Path. Yeah.
You find your own path. Sometimes you might not even do as much as the person. Sometimes you might even do more than the person.
So that's where the power of mentorship comes in. When it's about mentorship, people just think, oh, you're my mentor. They bastardize that language everywhere. Everybody, you're my mentor. You're my mentor. Mentor,
I'm guilty.
mentee, mentor.
I'm so guilty.
But the honest truth is, why recreate the wheel when you can, you can model, you can adapt, and you can also innovate, processes. The honest truth is, when it comes to modeling people's brand identity and all, I said you must carve your own niche. However, you must walk at the footprint of people who have gone ahead. And it simply means no matter how much you model people you love to be like, you would always have your own failures.
Yeah.
You will always have your own downsides. You must always pass through your own process. Yeah. Because I always say this, and I'm going to say it again. How would you know the impact of light when you've never seen darkness? How will you know the feeling of happiness when you've never been stung by pain? So life has its own peculiarities, the ups and the downs and all. So the fact that I model somebody, the fact that I walk in their path, I try to do what they do and all, does not mean that I won't have my own first share of the process. You will always, and be ready for it.
Yeah, be prepared.
The fact is that people all often model great people they want to be like, but they never understood the fact that they could be broken at any point in time. And that's what even break them at all.
Now I just love how it just came down to what I wanted to talk about right now is what exactly holds people back. Because I really, like you said, you want to make a bad decision. You always have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a question of ignorance sometimes, most times. But I want you to talk about what holds people back from executing these steps. Generally, just generally.
One of the great things that hold people back is the feeling of inability. You feel the people who you want to model, the things that you want to do, you feel you're not qualified yet to start. I've seen countless people in my space and say, oh, how do I become XYZ? But I feel I don't have the qualities and all. Everyone who started anything good in life started crude.
True. Best YouTubers, they started with one view.
You understand?
Yeah.
Everyone who ever started anything great in life started crude. I did a program one time, I said, be proud of your crude moments. Because one day, you will need the story of your crude state to inspire another generation of people to greatness. So I'm not always afraid to step into waters that have not been charted before, make the mistake I can, and all. What I always have in mind is, if I would fail, let me fail early. Okay. So I can succeed early too. So the inability of people feeling, oh, I'm not good enough, holds people back. And that is one of the big limiting factors why a lot of people do not take decisions or do not take the next step to the place they have been called to. A lot of people always have the mindset. They know in their mind they are made of more. They know they are wired for more. They are hunger for more. But they just can't. Why? You ask them, oh, I don't think I'm qualified enough. Oh, Or people would mock me if I make a mistake. Oh, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Personally, I've gone past those stage. And when I make mistake and fail, I'm not the first to fail. And I always love to hone my process. Like people will say, do it with your full chest. Do it with your full chest, you know? And that's not the honest truth. So inability of people to understand that they can get into spaces that are uncharted and make their mark and do great things.
How do you deal with imposter syndrome?
As a person, right, I have been at that space of life where I just feel like once it comes to my table, I go back to the drawing board. I go back to the drawing board. And at that stage, I just recalibrate and feel what should be done, what is at stake, and how do I take it from there? Because oftentimes in life, imposter syndrome, you see, personally, I just feel, oh, at this phase of life, it has to be a deliberate act to address it from the very onset and make sure it doesn't affect whatever I do and how my expressions is created.
That's another angle. I like how you broke it down. Before we settled on the podcast, we settled that whenever you find yourself in a situation where you need to do something and you're feeling some certain type of way, just do the opposite of what you're feeling. But now I love as you broke it down as going back to the drawing board, checking what is at stake, analyzing what is at stake, and what is needed at that point. Just doing a kind of like a little
An holistic
overview of the situation and
Straight
telling
up.
yourself the truth.
You see, that's what a lot of people, and that's why a lot of people get stuck when they are at that space of time. You don't try to look for the fact that things are happening, or you are in that space where you are having that imposter syndrome. At that point in time, like I said, once you recalibrate and go back to the drawing board, you come with a renewed mind, with a mindset that, okay, I just think this is what I need to do part time. And this is how I need to execute part time. And this is what I need to drop. Because oftentimes people don't, I call it RT, reflective thinking.
Okay.
People don't really come to that space. The reason why there's you will have the stop button is because when you're on a great speed and you need to take a pause, you apply what? A little pressure on the stop and reduce speed to recalibrate. Talking about situations.
Yeah.
And also, personally, recalibrate, go back to the drawing board, look at what is important, and then speed up again. You might even accelerate more than how you were going before. Yeah.
Wow. That is great. That is great. I love how you simplified with that sentence. So from the point of awareness and to the point of manifestation, what is your general framework for anyone asking to
personally, I have a personal framework that works for me. I call it the ICAR model.
ICAR model.
ICAR, AICAR.
This is why we are here. This is why we're here.
So I call it the ICAR model, and it's called Identify, Clarify, Action, Result.